prior chapter video, we focused on competitive firms. In this video, we're going to focus on competitive markets, the slight differences between the two, market characteristics of a perfect competition, and how it affects society. Now we're going to talk about the market supply curve. In the prior chapter, we talked about a purely competitive firm, which is a price taker. Now we're going back and understanding the equilibrium price was just set up arbitrarily. We didn't have a real means of measuring the market supply curve, so we just made it up. Now we're going to spend time to figure out where it comes from, why it exists, and get back to things such as marginal cost and the things that actually affect the market supply curve, such as outputs, inputs, I should say technology, expected or unexpected events. Do you think there's going to be any policy issues, and the number of firms coming in and out of the marketplace? And we're going to talk about what determines some of the things that determine the number of firms in the market. In the competitive market, the market supply is simply the aggregate of all the producers, and then we're going to plot that on a graph. As more and more firms enter the marketplace, what you're going to see is a shift in the supply curve down and to the right. It's going to create a new equilibrium point, which will be lower than the initial equilibrium price point. From there, everyone in the marketplace will experience a smaller profit margin, which will have an interesting effect. It'll force some of the newer companies, possibly some of the older ones as well, to actually tap out and leave the marketplace. After that, it might actually go back to the original point. It's not guaranteed, but it will have an effect on the price point. The marketplace will tend towards zero as more and more competition starts to enter the market because of a low barrier to entry. Barriers are anything that keeps competition out. If the barriers are very low, particularly cost, and everyone is opening up a lemonade stand on a corner, then the price margins or profit margins will actually drop to the point where no one makes a profit and the business might actually go away on its own. Very few products actually fall into the category of perfect competition. Usually it's pretty close. You start getting more competition, better quality, lower price, and then we get back to the point of very little profit. The market tends to evolve. When there's something new, everyone wants to jump on board because it's profitable. As you can see, 250 microcomputer companies existed. But as quality increased, they went the way of the dodo, straight to extinction. The same thing happened in the automobile industry. When Henry Ford became profitable, there were well over 125 automobile companies in the United States. Let's start with the market having only one producer. Let's say Apple and PCs, and they have a $300 margin per computer, which is pretty good. As the market starts to evolve, you're going to see lower costs due to low barriers, and more competition will enter into the market. As we discussed at the beginning, when the marginal cost is equal to the price, it doesn't make sense to make any more units. So we stop at 600 a month. However, the economy keeps going, and the next thing you know, competition sets in. It's going to shift our equilibrium from $1,000 to $800 per unit and shrink our profits. As more and more competition comes into the marketplace, profit margins drop even further. And as we see, we're down from 8 to 7, and those profit margins shrink. Eventually, what happens is it goes back to what we began with in this particular video, Marginal cost starts to equal price, and there's no profit left. In the long run, rules for entry and exit. If it's 5 units and your cost is only 3, you got a profit, you keep going. If it's 5 units of price and it's 6 units of cost, you stop. When they're both 5, you're just maintaining and you stay in business. What does that mean for the rest of it? Well, it encourages producers to actually get a little more efficient and lower the price per unit. Here we see that the old line, or the dotted ones, and our average cost is a little higher than it would be once we start to see improvements in the marketplace from the producer side. As competition continues, you start to see firms deciding to exit the market when the average variable cost drops too low and they cannot perform well. Therefore, they just sell the rest of the equipment to their competitors. And this is just an illustration of how the cost of one piece of technology dropped to about 5% of it at its peak. All right, our last section, the competitive process. In other words, where are we going to make money? The market mechanism is a lovely device, and it tells businesses where they should allocate resources. In other words, where they're going to make the money. The reason this is important is you need to figure out where you need to allocate. Should you make more laptops or desktops? If it's more laptops, that's where you're going to put your resources. And as we've discussed, businesses are all about making the money. They're going to put their resources into the most profitable ventures. This is how we figure out what to make and how many to make. One of the hallmarks of an efficient market is prices should go down because of competition. Everyone wants to keep their share of the marketplace. So essentially, at some point, they'll all get down to zero. And we will have a new equilibrium curve and point, and it will just keep going lower and lower and lower. And at that point, there won't be much of a profit margin between anybody or for anyone. And the good will either just be kind of a side item or it will no longer exist.